Let me tell you something. There are nights in the emergency room when even the most experienced nurses refuse to walk down certain hallways alone. Nights like when the lights flicker and the temperature drops for no reason, and you swear you hear someone whisper your name, but there's no one around. I mean, nothing could have prepared me for the phantom doctor. I had just started my shift. It was around 3:17 a.m. You know, the curse hour, when the hospital get way too quiet and things starts to happen. I was starting near the nurse's station when I saw a man walk past me wearing an old-fashioned white coat. Long, crisp, perfectly pressed. The coat looked too clean, too vintage, like something straight out of a 1950s medical textbook. I didn't recognize him. He didn't look familiar like a resident or a float doctor. And the strange part is, he didn't speak. Just looked straight ahead and walked straight towards room 12, the room that we haven't used in a long time, the room that everyone whispered about. I leaned over to my co-worker Lisa and whispered, "Who's the new doctor?" She squinted, looked down the hallway and said, "What doctor?" Nobody walked by. That's when my whole body went cold. Minutes later, the charge nurse called for someone to go check on Mr. Harper, an elderly man who was brought in for chest pain. When I walked into his room, he looked relieved. "Oh, thank God," he said. "The doctor already came in to check on me, the tall one. Wore a white coat, said he'll be right back with my labs." My heart dropped. No attending had seen him yet. No resident had been assigned. Nobody knew about this patient except for the nurses. I kept my voice steady. "What doctor, sir?" "The one who came in just now. He stood right there." He pointed to the corner. His hands were ice cold. I thought maybe the AC was broken. I checked the corner. Nothing. Just shadows. I stepped out, checked the system. There were no notes, no orders, no documentation that any doctor had visited him yet. But 30 minutes later, an order appears in the chart. Typed neatly, perfect grammar, old-fashioned medical language nobody used anymore. The signature said, Dr. H. Merrill. But the name didn't exist in our system. Around 4 a.m., I saw him again, the same man. Same coat, walking towards room 12. Only this time, he paused before entering. He turned his head slowly, like his neck was cracking, and looked directly at me. His eyes were dead, completely colorless, as if someone had erased the life out of them. And he smiled, not a friendly smile, not a polite smile. He smiled like he knew something about me, something horrible. He raised his finger and pointed at room 12 as if he was trying to tell me to come inside. Everything inside of me screamed no. I blinked, he vanished as if he hadn't been there. I checked room 12, completely empty, lights off, but the bed was pulled out, and the pillow had a dent in it as if someone was just sitting there. At 4:38 a.m., Mr. Harper coded. We ran into the room, crash carts, compressions, everything. Lisa shouted, "Call for help!" I ran to the hallway to yell for help, and standing directly in front of me was the doctor, the phantom doctor. He didn't move, he didn't blink, he just stood there watching us running around like we weren't scrambling to save a life. I screamed, "We need help!" He finally spoke in a slow, echoing whisper, "You already lost him." My stomach dropped. "How do you know that?" He tilted his head again in that unnatural cracking sound and repeated, "You already lost him." Then he stepped backward, straight through the closed door of room 12. Not into it, but through it, like smoke sliding into the dark. We pronounced Mr. Harper dead minutes later. His time of death? 4:38 a.m., the exact moment that the doctor had spoken. After the patient was taken to the morgue, I told the charge nurse everything. She looked at me like her soul had left her body. "Jenny, Dr. Merrill was real." I felt the blood completely drain out of my face. She continued, "He worked here in the late 1950s, brilliant doctor, but he died in room 12 after a massive heart attack. He fell to the ground right in the doorway while he was trying to save a patient's life." I whispered, "So he still think he's working?" "No," she said shakenly. "It's worse." She pulled out an old faded staff photo. All the doctors were smiling except for one. In the back row stood the man I saw. Same coat, same face, same dead eyes. "He appears every year," she whispers. always before someone dies in the ER. I felt my body shaking. Why does he show himself to me then? Her voice dropped. He shows himself to the people who can see the dead. Before I left that morning, I decided to check room 12. The hallway was silent, cold, and damp. I glanced into the window and froze. The phantom doctor was there, staring at me with those cold, dead eyes. Not moving, not breathing. He pressed his finger against the glass, and then written in the fog of his breath, even the ghost shouldn't breathe, were 3 words: your next shift. And he completely disappeared. But when I checked the schedule later, my next shift, room 12's hallway, alone, overnight. And I swear till this day, every time I walk by that room, I feel someone behind me. A cold hand, a whisper, a smile, but I can't see it. The phantom doctor still roamed the ER, still checking on patients, still predicting deaths. And if you ever hear footsteps behind you in a quiet hospital hallway, don't turn around. So this story was actually submitted to me from my YouTube channel by someone. I hope you guys enjoy it. I work night shift, so all of these things do sound very familiar, especially when there is a room in the hospital that is either considered to be cursed, or is the room that the lights go off even though there's no patient in that room, especially around certain times of the day, you know. But this story was very, very interesting. I never heard of the phantom doctor before, so this was kind of interesting. And this hospital is somewhere in the United States, so if you ever work at hospitals, I hope you never have to work at the hospital. And if you have to work at the hospital, I hope it's never overnight. And if you do work overnight shift, I hope you never come across the phantom doctor, because that always means that one of your patients might kick the bucket. So let me know what you guys think about this story. I talk to you guys later. Love you guys. Bye.